Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this evening session on MIAD 807, where we are going to look at contemporary issues in world politics. So, the exam is coming, so we are going to do our best to cover most part of this course material. Now, to understand the contemporary issue in world politics, we need to look at three parts of this course material because this course material has three modules: module one, module two, module three. The module one part is about the basic conceptual framework of this international politics, while the module two talks about issues in world politics, and the module three is just about the recurring issues in world politics. So now, before you understand this course, we need to understand the concept of international politics. And when we say international politics, we make reference to how countries interact with each other. The struggle for power in the international system, the cooperation, conflict, war, peace, economic relation, and diplomacy. So how countries interact together in the international system is what we refer to as international politics. Understand? So according to a popular definition says that the international politics is the struggle for power among nations or among states. The struggle for power among nations or states. Now, when we talk about the struggle for power among nation or state, the struggle of power comes in when they are fighting for their national interest. Because at the cornerstone of the foreign policy of each country, the national interest comes in. So while pursuing the national interest, you struggle for power to get it. Listen. So the international politics focusing on observing, describing, interpreting, and analyzing patterns of international relation between states. Whenever you hear state in this class, just know that we are talking about countries. So when we say state, we mean countries. You understand? So the international politics is a multidisciplinary concept or study. That is, it takes its knowledge, it takes its concept, or all the framework, all the knowledge you will hear in this course come from history, economics, law, sociology, and political science. So, in essence, the international politics remain the struggle for power among nation states, as long as it focuses on how states behave and why they behave the way they behave. Do you understand? For instance, now there have been the USA and China rivalry. Why is these two countries fighting? Understand? Or Ukraine, Russia invading Ukraine. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? Do you understand? So the way countries behave in the international system and how they behave is what we are trying to understand in international politics, the MIAD 807. You understand? If you don't understand, just let me know that you don't understand. So I'll be able to explain further. So, as I said, the first part of module one talks about the concept in international politics. And the first concept we look at is international politics. The second concept is the concept of power. What is power? From the definition of international policy, from one of the definitions, we mentioned the struggle for power, which make power one of the important concepts in international politics. It makes power the important concept in international politics. So, power means the ability of a country or a state to influence or control the action of another country. The ability, understand? the ability to influence or control the action of another country. Listen, so we say power means the ability. That's in the simplest way. That's in the simplest way. It's like you are in your house. You have daddy and mommy. Daddy and mommy and the children. You know the daddy can ask the children to go and wash plates, and they will go and wash plates. So the ability to influence the action of the children. This also happens in the international system. Some powerful countries have power to influence another country, to control another country, to do what they will not willingly want to do. Understand? So power occurs in international system. A country has power when it has three things. A country has power when it has three things. Number one, when it makes other countries to obey its wish. You can notice, you can sit down and try to understand. There are some countries, they can make another country to obey them. Number two, when that particular country shape global decision. Understand? Number three, when a country is able to achieve its goals in the international system. So when a country has these three things, we say that country is powerful in international politics. You understand? So for us to understand power better, we need to understand the forms of power. We have two forms of power. We have the tangible power and the intangible power. Understand? We have the tangible power and the intangible power. For my slide, you can see that we said power, the capacity of a nation is to use its tangible and its intangible resources in such a way that it can affect the behavior of others. There was a time Donald Trump said they are going to send our soldiers to Nigeria to defend Nigerian Christians. And they sent. Did Tinubu stop them? No, because they are powerful than us. Do you understand? So the ability for you to use your tangible and intangible resources to influence another country's behavior to do what you want them to do is power. Understand? And we said we have two forms of power, the tangible power and the intangible power. And when we say tangible power means they are physical, visible, and measurable elements or resources a country has. It can be counted, seen, and touched. Understand? So when we are talking about tangible power, this is what you can see from my slide. We mentioned the geostrategic power. Understand? I'm going to explain it. We mentioned the geostrategic power. We mentioned the economic power, the population power, the technological power, the military power. You understand? These are tangible power. You understand? That is, you can see them. They are power you can see, you can feel, you can count. You understand? So the number one tangible power, which is the geostrategic power. Understand? Geostrategic power, that is geography. So this type of power is derived from the location of a country, the climate of a country, the size of its territory, the natural resources in that particular country. But you might be asking yourself, why is it that geography, the location, or the climate of a country matters? It matters for three things. The geostrategic power matters for three things. If you go to MIAD 805, you will see that most of the war they are fighting is because of the geostrategic area of the Middle East. So the geography of a country also matters. It's also a power. So the geography of a country is an impact for many reasons. And one of the reasons why it matters is that a good climate can support agriculture. When your climate, the climate of your country is good, the agricultural sector of your country is going to boom. Understand? Number two, a strategic location, country that are strategically placed in a good location. Understand? It can help them to control international trade routes. When you look at the Middle East is just a place that linked the Africa with Europe and Asia because it's a strategic location. I said, number three reason why the geostrategic is a good source of power is because if you have a large territory, listen, there are likelihood that you have natural resources. And these natural resources are going to be valuable to the economy of your country. Let me give an example now. Nigeria, for instance, now, we have fertile land. And the fertile land we have in Nigeria, we have oil reserve, right? The USA, they have massive territory in the USA, listen, which give them abundant resources. Listen, but when you look at countries like Singapore, understand? Singapore is small, but it is in a strategic location between major seas. We serve as a route, as a ship route. So which means that for a country to be in a strategic location is also a power. You can use it as power. Number two tangible power is the economic power. You can see from my slide, economic power. Understand? So the economic power determines how much influence a country has, and that is economically, the impact you have economically. Understand? Now, why is economic power matters? Number one reason why economic matter is strong economies. Understand? Strong economy, they found powerful military. That is, if your country has money, you can have all the ammunition, all the military capacity you want. And the international system, once your country has all the military capacity they want, nobody can confront you. Understand? Number two reason why the economic power is important is that wealthy country can offer loan and aid to poor country. And once they do that one, they can also impose sanction. If you see that your country borrow money from another country anytime, they borrow money every year, that means that they will be subjected to the conditionality of that particular country, which means that they are going to follow the condition laid down by the other country to them. So in essence, economic power is important because if you have money, you can manipulate people easily. It's like in your house. If your daddy asks you to go and wash plates and you have like 20 naira in your pocket, you can give it to your younger sister to go and wash it for you, which means you use your money to manipulate your younger sister. The same thing is happening in the international system. Wealthy country, they give loan, they give aid to small country, and they impose sanction, condition on them. But the third reason why the economic power is important is because the economic power attracts global respect. Listen, country that has money get a global respect. Let me give you an example now. China and the USA, Japan, they have economic power, right? That is why people respect them. But countries like Somalia, Chad, Mozambique, they have poor economy. So this poor economy they have make them weak in the international system. On the other hand, China use the economic power they have to give loan to most countries so that they can expand their influence. Look at the infrastructure. Most of the infrastructure happening in Nigeria are done by Chinese companies. Listen, so the second tangible power is economy. The first one is the geostrategic, the location of our country. The second is the economy. The third one is the population. And when we say about population, we mean the people. Listen, the people, the productivity of the people living in the country. We are not counting about people we are not counting the head count of people in the country. Listen, because sometimes your population can make you and it can mar you. Understand? That is, the population, if you use the population well, you can be rich. But if you are not using the population well, you can be poor. Understand? Because large population is equal to a larger market. China has large population. So they are making use of the population to penetrate larger market. They produce more, they penetrate larger market. Because with large population, you are going to have more workers, more industrialized society, more military. Listen. But sometimes, look at China. China have 1.4 billion people. They have 1.4 billion people, which means that they have huge labor force. They have people to work. India have like approximately 1.3 billion people, if I'm not mistaken. Listen, the workforce also is huge. Nigeria in Africa, we are the largest in Africa. So if the population is used as it should be used, it's going to influence the economy of your country, which become an advantage. Listen. So the fourth tangible power is the technology. You can see in my slide, the fourth one is technology. Because
my slide is not moving, sir.
My slide is not moving.
Yes. It's not only moving. The first page.
Sorry, I don't know. Is it moving now?
We're still on only the first page. You didn't move to slide 2 or 3. Yes, now it's moving.
1.
Yes, this is the first one. Yes, I think we have the 6 elements of power here now.
Okay, it's moving now. You can see it now, right?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I'm not watching my slides, so in case you are not seeing anything, just let me know so that I can say. So the fourth tangible element of power, the fourth tangible source of power is the technology. You can all see the slide, right? Okay. It's technology. So if you're using your phone, you might not see it well. So I'm using laptop to project it. That's why you might not see it well in your laptop unless you bend your phone in a slant way. So now the fourth tangible source of power is technology. You understand? And when you look at technology in the contemporary world become the strongest sources of power or the strongest source of power. Listen, why technology is the strongest source of power now in this world we have? Number one reason why technology is a stronger source of power, that is, with technology, military technology can be taken out, can be driving out from your technology. Understand? Which is going to bring out your strength as a country in terms of war. Understand? And also, advanced technology. Advanced technology understand, if a country technology is advanced, understand, can improve the economy of the country. Understand? And state with advanced technology or science usually dominate the global political system. Understand? Like for instance now, the USA, they lead in military technology. Understand? China, they led in how do you call it? 5G network, AI impact. Understand? Israel also, they have impact. They also have impact in military technology. And it's derived from the power they get from technology. The fifth one is the military power. The military power is the most visible and traditional forms of power. When we talk about power, whenever we say a country is powerful, most people focus on the military aspect, whereas the military aspect is not the only one. Listen, the military aspect is the traditional one. That is, this one people, whenever we say country is powerful, people will always think about the military. Listen, so the size of your armed force, the quality of your weapons, also is also a form of power in the international system. Listen, countries like the USA, Russia, North Korean, these countries, they militarily, they are powerful. That is why they get easy from Mr. Rufai.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
It's okay, I've moved you. So, in essence, what we are trying to say here is that the military power is the fifth source of power, is the fifth tangible power, while the last one on our list is the resources power, which is the natural resources. But normally the tangible power, there are five. The tangible power, there are five. They have the geostrategic, the economy, the population, the technology, and the military power. Listen, am I communicating, please?
Yes, you are, sir.
Thank you very much. If you don't understand, please ask. Just tell me you don't understand. We are here to just learn together, please. Just say we still have 2 hours. If we can use 2 hours, 30 minutes, answer a question, no problem. So you don't understand, tell me you don't understand, and we go. Listen. So there is nothing bad in not understanding something. So as I said, we have the tangible power, we have the intangible power. So in the intangible power, they are power that cannot be seen, they cannot be measured, but they have strong influence in the country power. There are four. There are four in number. The national unity, how united the country is. Is your country united? Listen, China is having influence globally because the country is united. They have strong national unity. Libya is divided today because they don't have power in the international system because they are not united. Nigeria is having is also a problem also. The north is not united to the south is not united to the north, the east is not. Listen, so the unity in the country also is also a source of power, but it's an intangible power. You cannot see it. Number two, intangible power is the leadership power. That is good leadership in the country. Good leadership in the country. Because these good leaders, the good leaders in the country increase the national power of the country. Look at the cases of Nelson Mandela. Listen, this Nelson Mandela propelled the name of South Africa globally. Listen, we have countries where they have poor leaders, and this poor leader has affected the image of the country globally. Listen, number three, intangible power is nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism and patriotism. And when we say nationalism and patriotism, we are making reference to a sense of pride and a sense of pride about a country. Understand? How do you put the image of your country? Do you understand? Normally, Nigeria, during independence, we were united. That's nationalism. We were united. We wanted to fight. When there is football and Nigeria is playing, you will see that all Nigerians, they are united. We are patriotic that time. But after football, we are not patriotic. Understand? So that's the third one. The fourth one is propaganda and image power. That is how a country is able to use the media People will think that Nigeria is the only country whereby there is crime every day. There is crime in the UK every day. There is crime in the USA. I'm in the UK. And I see people running for their life also. But you will not see them putting it in the media like that, tarnishing the image of their country. They have a way to do the propaganda in a way that the image of the country is not tarnished. So these are the 4 intangible power. But the tangible power I mentioned are the first 5-1. The intangible power are the 4-1 I just mentioned now. So we proceed now to the next one. The next concept. The concept is sovereignty. Sovereignty. And when we talk about sovereignty, can anyone define sovereignty for us? I want it to be interactive enough. What is sovereignty? What is sovereignty? Based on your own understanding, what is sovereignty?
Maybe the absolute power a state has to protect its boundaries from external intrusions from being invaded.
Thank you very much.
Of your borders.
The absolute power a country has to protect its territory. Listen, and its people, not the territory only, its territory and its people, the absolute power you have as a country. So sovereignty means a state has a supreme authority over its people and territory, and it is not controlled by any other power. So when a country has power to protect the people living in the country, protect its territory, and is not being influenced by an external force or an internal force, we say that country or that state is sovereign. Do you understand? We say that at that point, we say that country is sovereign or that is being secured. Now, look at it. Now, from the slide we have here, listen, we say sovereignty from the slide, the absolute authority and the perpetual power of a state over its citizens and subjects, unrestrained by the law. So that power the country has to protect people, not being manipulated by an internal factors or an external factor, is sovereignty. Listen, and sovereignty is divided into two types of sovereignty: the internal sovereignty and the external sovereignty. I know in the slide you might not see it very well in the slide, but if you take your time to look at it, you will see it very well. So we have the internal sovereignty and the external sovereignty. I want to talk about the internal sovereignty, the power to make and enforce law within a state or within a country. That is the internal sovereignty, the power to make and enforce law within a state or a society, or a state or a country. That is internal sovereignty. While on the other hand, we have the external sovereignty. The external sovereignty is that the recognition by other country. Understand? That is other country recognizing you that you are existing as a country. That's independence from foreign control, not being controlled by a foreigner. So the time that you are not getting controlled by a foreigner, that means that you are being recognized as a country. You should stand on your own. Understand? So now, the question we'll be asking is, how can sovereignty be gained? How can a country gain sovereignty? Listen, number one way a country can get sovereignty is through independence from colonial power. Once you gain independence from colonial power, automatically you are now a sovereign nation. That is, no country is commanding you, is controlling you. You get sovereignty. The case of Nigeria, 1960, Nigeria got our independence. Number two way you can get sovereignty is through war of liberation or secession. Through war of liberation or secession. Come here, please. So through war or liberation or secession, sometimes you might not get your independence easily. What you need to do, you go on war or you do secession. Understand? There is a country, we call it Eritrea. Eritrea seceded from Ethiopia. Ethiopia and Eritrea, they were together, but the Eritrea, they run away from them. Currently, if Biafra state is achieved, we call it secession. That's all. So somebody want to ask a question? Yeah, Sadiq Alamide, I want to ask a question. Yeah, you can ask your question. You raise your hand.
Yes, sir, I did. I wanted to understand this sovereignty. You talked about if a country has independence and if they have no control by external forces, then they'll be seen as maybe externally sovereign as well. So my question is, for example, what happened with the US and the Venezuelan president? How would we describe that?
The US and Venezuela, what is happening is the US has a veto power in the United Nations. So which brings the United Nations not to condemn the action of the US or not to sanction the action of the US. Listen, 5 countries have veto power in the United Nations. And these 5 countries, they can do and undo, literally. That is why the realists, they believe that the international system is anarchical in nature. They believe that there is no central police or central government to make order in the international system. I don't know whether you've heard of the realist theory. I think it's MIAD 803, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
So the realist theory, they believe that the international system is anarchical in nature. That is, no central government to make order. Donald Trump sent his troops to Venezuela to catch Maduro, the president of Venezuela. Normally, they should be able to condemn it and sanction him. But because there is no central authority, due to the anarchical stature of the international system, and there is no central authority to make order, it goes scot-free. And the fact that they also have veto power in the United Nations. Understand? So if such things happen in Nigeria, which is domestic politics, for instance, now, we know we have a central government. Tinubu can condemn it and sanction it. Let's say a governor from his country, from his state, go to another state, go and violate another governor. The central governor of Nigeria can sanction that president, that governor. But in the international system, it is anarchical in nature. Listen, there is no central government. So there are some things that happen that are abnormal. They are abnormal in domestic politics, but in international policies, they go scot-free. Listen,
sorry, sir, please, who are the 5 countries?
What?
Please, which member countries? Which 5 countries has the veto power?
The 5 countries that has veto power. Anybody to answer it for us before I answer it? The P5 country.
China, Russia, United States.
Uh-huh.
The UK.
You mentioned 3.
France.
The United Kingdom.
The UK. The 5th one, is it France or Germany?
France.
Okay.
Both of them.
So we have China, we have France, we have Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. They have veto power. This veto power they have, the meaning of this veto power they have is that they have the decision, the power to upturn any decision made in the international, in the United Nations. That is, if somebody wants to, like Israel have been sanctioned for what is happening in Palestine, but the United States of America has been vetoing the sanction, which means that Israel can go scot-free. Do you understand now? So these 5 countries, they are the powerful country in the United Nations. They have the veto power. Listen. So we continue from where we stopped. I was mentioning that how countries can get their sovereignty. Number 1 is through independence. Number 2 is through war, liberation, or secession. That is, you secess like what happened in Nigeria in 1967 to 1970, if I'm right with the date. Biafra, like what happened during Biafra war. Listen, if they won the war, then we say that they've find their own independent through war from Nigeria. Understand? Number 3 is through recognition. Understand? Recognition of new territory. That is, you recognize that this territory belongs to you. In 2011, in South Sudan, they recognize the territory that they are no more part of the Northern Sudan. Understand? So that is about our country can get in the sovereignty, but sometimes country can lose their sovereignty also. Understand? So in my slide, I just jump pack everything, but if you take your time, you can see it very well. So how country can lose their sovereignty? There are 2 ways country can lose their sovereignty. The number 1 way is a state can lose its sovereignty when it no longer has a full control of its territory. Number 1 is through merger. We call something merger, that is voluntarily losing your sovereignty. When 2 or more countries decided to join together to become one, that means that one of them have lost its sovereignty. It happened in 1958. Egypt and Syria, they marched together to become one when during the war in MIAD 805. So they marched together to become one during the war. Listen. So although they call themselves the United Arab Republic, listen. So until 1961, they were still called United Arab Republic, but later on Syria tried to separate from the Union. That's number 1. Number 2 is through annexation. Annexation is that forcefully taking another country land from them. Listen, maybe Nigeria, I'm just giving an example, maybe Nigeria forcefully taking Cameroon land from them. It has happened before in the international system. We call it annexation. Understand? It has happened during Iraq in 1990. Understand? Iraq invaded Kuwait under Saddam Hussein. Understand? Under Saddam Hussein, Iraq invaded Kuwait and declared that Kuwait was now its 19th province. So the United Nations. You did that one in MIAD 805. I think it's in MIAD 805, where the invasion of Iraq. So it called for the intervention of the United Nations before Iraq can leave Kuwait. So now, that is in 1991, they did the coalition of army by the United Nations, Operation Desert Storm. They stormed them. They forcefully chased Iraq away from Kuwait. Listen, so these are the 2 ways country can lose their sovereignty. Listen, so other concept, you can watch limitation on sovereignty. You can watch it from the slide. Now, the 4th concept you are looking at is diplomacy. We've talked about international politics. We've talked about power, right? We've talked about sovereignty. That's the 3rd one. The 4th one is diplomacy. Understand? We are still in mode 1, section 1. Understand? Diplomacy. So diplomacy is the use of intelligence and tactics to manage the international relation. The use of intelligence and tactics to manage the international relation through peaceful negotiation. The use of intelligence and tactics to manage the international relation through peaceful negotiation. So from the slide I'm showing you, you can see from the slide that it says diplomacy is the application of intelligence and tact to the conduct of official relation between governments. You understand? So, and when we talk about diplomacy, the role of diplomacy in international system, understand, is representation. That is, country diplomacy serve as representation, sending one country, your ambassador to another country to represent you. Understand? Protection, negotiation, observation, promotion, and protection of citizens abroad, as you can see from my slide. Listen, so these are the rules of diplomacy. That is, whenever you talk about diplomacy, you talk about representation, representing your country in another country. You talk about negotiating with another country in order to get support from them, alliances with them. Observation and reporting. All our embassy you are seeing in another country, they also observe and report scenario that is happening in the country they have and report back home. Listen, and also protection of citizens abroad. They protect the lives of Nigeria abroad. Listen, and also promotion of friendly relation with another country. Listen, that is about diplomacy. So we'll not go deep, but you can see it from the definition, the use of intelligence and tactics to manage international relations through peaceful negotiation. Understand? If you don't understand, just let me know. If you have any question, you can let me know before I proceed to the next slide. So in the past question, there are questions that ask you to define this concept. They are going to list the concept, and you should be able to define, say something on all these concepts. Understand? So that's why we need to know. That's in mode 1. Mode 1 is just about the concept, the definition of all these concepts. Understand? So the next thing we want to look at is unilateralism, bilateralism, and multilateralism. Now, when we say unilateralism, this is when a state make
Good evening. Hello. Good.
You can raise your hand if you have a question, please.
I wanted to ask about the classes of diplomacy. Can you please explain the classes of diplomacy, please?
The classes of diplomacy.
Yes.
Let me just plug my phone, please. I just want to plug my phone.
Sorry, diplomatic mission.
Okay, the diplomatic mission. So when we talk about diplomatic mission, we have 4 diplomatic missions. Number 1 is just the permanent mission, like the embassies. The embassy, that's just the embassy. Number 2 is the envoy we send to countries. The envoy we send to countries in terms of negotiation, because one of the role of the diplomacy is negotiation also. So the envoy we send there. Understand? The number 3 is the minister residence. So because in our diplomatic mission, in our embassies or in our consular, we have some people that are there. We have some ambassadors that are there. Understand? The ambassador they are there, they are there to represent the country. They are different from envoy. Envoy go and come back, but the ambassador, they are in the country to represent the country. They are in the host country to represent the home country. Understand? Why the chargé d'affaires? The chargé d'affaires, they are known as assistant ambassador. Understand? They are we call it chargé d'affaires, it's a French word. So they are like assistant ambassador. Understand? They are placed sometimes on interim, or they can be there in case there is no ambassador in the country. The chargé d'affaires can be representing the country till the time that we send an ambassador to the country. You can see that currently Nigeria does not have an ambassador in most countries. Listen, but we still have our embassy in all these countries. So in the absence of the ambassador, the chargé d'affaires continue to do the work. I'm charging my phone, that's why you are not seeing me, please. I don't want my phone to get off while we are talking. So that is about the classes of the diplomatic missions. So now, what we wanted to discuss about is unilateralism, bilateralism, and multilateralism. Now, when we talk about unilateralism, understand, is when a country or a state make a decision without consulting other country. Understand? when a country make a decision without consulting another country, like normally in the international system, when you want to take an action that that will affect the international system, you need to involve or communicate with another country. But in a situation that they take decision without talking with other country, it become a unilateral decision. What happened between USA and Venezuela is a unilateral decision, because normally US is supposed to bring it to the United Nations and they deliberate on it, but it was not the case. So it is a unilateral decision. Another example is in 2001, George Bush of America, understand, they withdraw from anti-ballistic mission treaty. They signed a treaty in 1972, but in 2001, George Bush withdrew themselves from it. That is, they signed an agreement that they should not have anti-ballistic mission, but anti-ballistic mission. That is, those weapons, you should not have it. But in 2001, George Bush withdrew himself from it. That no, it go against America foreign policy, national interest. Understand? That is bilateralism. That is when a country takes a decision in the international system without involving other country. That is how do you call it? Unilateralism. Understand? Now, with unilateralism, result is usually suspicious. Understand? That is, you may be asking yourself, why is it that you did not involve other country before you take decision? Understand? It happened several times in the international system. Country take decision without involving another country. That's unilateralism. But bilateralism, understand? Bilateralism is cooperation between two states in the international system. Understand? That is, country working in pairs for security, economic, or political issues. Tinubu has traveled to Turkey, he has traveled to UK, he has traveled to France. That is bilateralism. Listen, so when two countries or two states agree on a particular policy or focus on a particular action, as an international system, that is bilateralism. Two countries, bilateralism. They take decision together. Listen, it can be on economic, cultural, defense, security. Listen, that is about bilateralism. Now, the third one is the multilateralism. Multilateralism. Let me mute this first. Can you mute yourself, please? Tina, I'm having Tina. Can you mute yourself? Thank you. So, multilateralism is where many states, they work together in the international system to achieve a common goal. Understand? So in multilateralism, there is usually a consensus agreement by many states. Somebody is asking me, Mr. Akanji, please, will this class be uploaded in my YouTube? Yeah, sure. I'll upload in my YouTube channel. So you can watch it in the YouTube. Please, you can also comment. Seeing your comment means that you are watching it, please. Now, so the multilateralism is just about many countries working together to achieve a common goal in the international system. Understand now? So, example, in the United Nations, at the United Nations, many countries work together. At the World Trade Organization, African Union, ECOWAS, that is, the decision they take there is usually multilateral in nature. You understand? The next concept we are looking at is rapprochement, deterrence, and reciprocity. Understand? Now, when we talk about rapprochement is a process where two countries, they restore friendly relation after fighting. It's like you fight. Let me just take the family setting as a husband and wife. They don't fight finish. After fighting, they settle the fight and they still live in the same room. That is a rapprochement in the international system. When country A and country B, they fight together. After fighting, they now restore friendly relationship together after fighting, after the conflict. That is a rapprochement. It's derived from the French word rapprocher, to come together. Somebody's asking me your YouTube channel name, please. Your admin in your group, don't remove me from your group. The person that created your group removed me. So my YouTube channel is Ambassador Akanji. My surname is Akanji, so just put Ambassador in front, you see Akanji. Akanji is Akanj for Juliet and I for India. Akanji. Yeah. So rapprochement is when two countries, the process where two countries or two states, they restore friendly relation after fighting. Listen, in 1960, France, they tested a nuclear bomb in the Sahara Desert. This prompted Nigeria to fight France, because Nigeria is regarded as the giant of Africa. So in 1960, when France tested the nuclear weapon in the Sahara Desert, you know the Sahara Desert is far from Nigeria, but so far as the Sahara Desert is in the continent of Africa, Nigeria fought with France then. Understand? Nigeria fought with France. Sahara Desert is in Algeria. Around Algeria, that's where they put the nuclear weapon, the nuclear bomb. It's just a test. Because when you create the bomb, you need to test it. So they don't think that they can only test it in Africa, Sahara Desert. So Nigerian fought with them. Understand? The reason why Nigerian fought with them is due to the environmental impact of the bomb. But later on, Nigeria and France, they settled and they became friends. So that is a rapprochement. And it happened also. As I give an example in a family setting, husband and wife can fight and they will settle. Rapprochement. That's the first concept. The second concept is a deterrence. And when we talk about deterrence, we mean a strategy where a country or a state discourage attack by threatening a severe retaliation. Let me repeat it. A strategy where a country discourage other country in the world by attacking them, in a way of threatening them. Let me think about an example. There was a time, I don't know whether you watch news, but there was a time China were displaying their military power. And that time, they make a statement that China will never attack any country in the world. But if any country in the world tries to attack China, the repercussion is going to be massive. It's just a statement, but that statement carries weight in the international system. Which means that if you attack us, you will be in problem. So as they tell you like this, you will not attack them. That is deterrent. They're saying that you slap me, you slap me once, I'm going to slap you 10 times. That is deterrent. A way of discouraging any attack by threatening a severe retaliation. You are threatening them that if they attack you, there is going to be a massive retaliation. Understand? It's not only in attack only. Sometimes, look at Burkina Faso. There was a time Burkina Faso president said that any white people, America, any European country that want to enter Burkina Faso, they must apply for visa. You know, before with their passport, they can enter easily. But he said you must apply for visa. Because whenever we want to come to Europe, we pay for visa. So why is it that when they want to come to our country, they enter easily? Understand? So sometimes you put visa restriction. Understand? That is deterrence. Understand? Am I communicating?
Yes, you are, sir.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I made a mistake. I made a mistake here. So the mistake I made is the deterrence I was talking about is that if you attack, you are going to get severe retaliation. But the third one, I was giving an example of reciprocity. Listen, reciprocity is the third concept. Listen, the reciprocity is just a principle that a state should reciprocate what another state is doing to them. The way you treat me, I'm going to treat you like that. That is reciprocity. Understand? If you stretch a friendly gesture to me, I'm going to do the same thing to you. But if you treat my people badly, we are going to do the same thing. Look at South Africa. They are changing Nigeria in South Africa. Recently, Honorable Oshiomhole said that what South Africa are doing to Nigeria in South Africa, we are going to replicate the same thing to the company they have in Nigeria. That is reciprocity. So if you are not giving visa to our people in your country, we are not going to give visa to your people in your country, in our country also. That is reciprocity. That is to reciprocate what another country is doing to you. If another country is treating you good, you treat them good. If they are treating you badly, you do the same thing to them. Understand? So reciprocity, in essence, means that states deserve to be treated as they are treating other. If a country is treating other country as trash, there was a time United States of America put sanction on most African countries. If you have questions, you can raise your hand, please. I want it to be interactive enough, so don't be afraid. I'm a talkative, so we can talk. So
yeah, I can't even find a place to raise my hand, but I have just one contribution to make on this reciprocity.
Okay, you can ask your question. You can make your contribution. Thank you.
Okay, just to say that I know that Nigerian immigration system or Nigerian immigration service has this as a concept of treating other people coming to Nigeria through the same visa process we experience in their own country. If you are going to UK, if the visa fee is $1,000, if a British is coming to Nigeria, he also pay $1,000. If going to Egypt is $500, an Egyptian coming to Nigeria will also pay $500. So that concept of reciprocity, I think Nigerian immigration are using it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this example. So that's the reciprocity. That is the way you treat us, we are going to treat you the same way you are treating us. You are not seeing my face because I'm charging my phone, please. I don't want my phone to be off. So the way a country is treated in the international system, another country should do the same thing to them. So when USA president put sanction on most African countries, that is, they don't want them in USA. Most of Sahel country, Burkina Faso, Mali, they also put the same sanction on them that we don't want you in our country also. Understand? So that is the way you are treating us. We will also treat you the same way. Understand? So the next concept you are looking at, the one I said we are looking at concept. The next concept you are looking at is polarity concept in the international system. Polarity in the international system. I said electric. I made a mistake in this slide. So, but let me just, in the slide, I said polarity means that the distribution of power in the international system, how power is being distributed. Instead of political science, I put electrical science. So it's political science. In case you are seeing the slide, it's political science, not electrical science. Understand? So how power is being distributed in the international system. So in international system, how power is being distributed is on three motifs: polarity, unipolarity, bipolarity, and multipolarity. Understand? So when we say unipolarity, that is, there is one supreme power that is controls the international system. One supreme power controlling the international system. Understand? So after the Cold War, in this stage, after the Cold War, USA dominated the world. The United States of America, they dominated the world. Listen, after the Cold War. But the bipolarity is when we have two dominant power that influence the international system. Understand? Is when we have two dominant power influencing the international system. That is two countries. They are the powerful countries in the international system. Understand? So all other countries in the international system, they fall under these two countries by forming alliance. Understand? So the world is now divided into two. One is going to support the other one. The other party is going to support the other country. There was a time whereby the USA and the USSR, they were the one that was dominating the world. Understand? So USA were capitalism in nature. Understand? Why the USSR, they were socialist in nature, or communist in nature. So what I want you to understand is that with bipolarity, just say bi, it means two. So when two powerful countries dominate the international system, and the feasible example you can give is the USA example and the USSR example during the Cold War. Understand? Why the third polarity of power in the international system is the multipolarity. Understand? Multipolarity means that there are many forces or many power dominating the international system. No single country or two countries dominate the international system because power is being shared among different international systems. Look at in today's world, we have multipolar system. USA has power. China has power. Russia, they have power. UK, France, they have power. Many countries have power. Some countries, they have economic power. Some countries, they have military power. Some countries, they have all. You understand? So it is not that the power is concentrated in only two countries, but power is concentrated in many countries. You understand? So the multipolarity of power now, understand, best describe this contemporary global politics. Understand? That is the politics that is happening in the international system now is multipolarity in nature because power is not concentrated in only one country or two countries, but in many countries. Am I communicating, please?
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much. Can we proceed?
Okay. This bipolarity. The example on your slide says the NATO bloc. I feel like the current NATO has more than two countries.
The current.
Yes.
So
So
thank you very much. Thank you very much for making that how do you call it, example? See, we say during the Cold War.
okay.
During the Cold War, bipolarity existed during the Cold War. So if we want to make reference to the current NATO or the current block of NATO or the current area we call NATO, and we are going to go into contemporary politics because it's current contemporary politics, global politics. Do you understand? So the contemporary global politics, most of them, you see, Ukraine is want to be powerful, so want to secede from how do you call it, this block. Do you understand? So contemporary global policy is different from the Cold War era, and the Cold War era we are talking about, you can see the date in my slide. Understand?
Yes.
Somebody want to ask a question. You raise your hand. I don't know the name. You put Infinix X60. I don't know. You can ask your question.
Yes, please. I want to ask, what is the relationship between this polarity and hegemony? Are they the same
Okay.
concept? Are they different? Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you very much for the question. So when we say unipolarity, understand, is a system where hegemony is present. Understand? Is a system, unipolarity is a system where hegemony is present. And when we say hegemony, is the political, economical, cultural dominance of one country or one group over the other group. Understand? Is when one country or one group dominates other group. So this one occur only in unipolarity stage. I don't know whether I answer your question, but hegemony can only occur in unipolarity.
Okay. Thank you, sir. But can we say unipolarism and hegemony are the same thing, the same concepts,
Yeah,
but in different forms?
Yeah, they are same concept, but you when defining them, you just need to make sure that you need to make sure that you are making reference to one state dominating the political, economical, and cultural activities. Listen, you can unmute yourself. You mute yourself.
Yes, please. My children are around. So I don't want to. Yes,
Okay.
I understand very well now. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Another person raised his hand. So Sadiq Olamide, you can ask your question.
Okay, I wanted to clarify now, still asking about NATO. So now we can put the current NATO bloc now as under multipolarity, yes?
When you say the current NATO bloc, you know
because I know the NATO members are more than 2 now. We have the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Canada, Turkey.
See, we put them under the contemporary world. Understand? We'll put them under the contemporary world.
Okay.
Because when you say the bipolarity, I in the slide I put the NATO bloc there. Understand? But the example we are making reference to is the USSR. Is the USSR, the Soviet Union. Understand? The Soviet Union. That's the example.
Relevant example. Thank you.
That's the Soviet Union we are making reference to when I say the NATO bloc there. So that's the Soviet Union is what the Soviet power is being shared between the Soviet Union and the USA during the Cold War. And so we are going to do Cold War in Module 3 of this course. I think in Module 3 of this course. Okay. Any other question, or can we proceed? Can we proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we've talked about concept. This one is the end of Module 1, Section 2. Now we are proceeding to Module 1, Section 3. The Module 1, Section 3 is the approach to the study of international politics. How do we study international politics? So there is 2 major approaches to study international politics. The first approach is idealism, while the second one is realism. Understand? So I already shared the slide with you. I know the slide is a bit jam-packed because it's just an impromptu class we are doing. I didn't plan to do a class with you, but some of your colleagues just call me for the class. Now, the first concept.
Some of us don't have the slide, please.
The slide. I
said some of us don't have the copy of the slide, please.
I think
I'll send you a message after the class, no problem.
Please check the general group. It was sent there yesterday evening. Please check the general group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in the general.
Right. Thank you.
Someone to put it there. They remove it from your general group.
We tried to do from behind, but we couldn't get you back. Okay. I understand what transpired. No problem, sir. God bless you.
Don't worry, I don't want to discuss about that thing yet. Now, so idealism as the first approach. We have 2 approaches to study international politics according to this module. Number 1, idealism. The second one is realism. Now, idealism approach believe that human beings are naturally good and peaceful. Understand? Human beings are naturally good and peaceful. So which means that to the idealists, they believe that cooperation is possible in the international system. That is, we can achieve cooperation. Listen, we say that the international system is anarchical in nature, no central government, but the idealists believe that we are naturally good. If we want to be good, we will be good as human beings. So we can achieve cooperation if we want to achieve cooperation. Understand? So the idealists have 5 arguments we need to note. They have 5 arguments. The number 1 argument they have is that war is a normal thing that happens in the international system. War can happen anytime. Understand? Number 2 argument is that peace can be achieved through morality. Morality in the sense that human beings know what is good and what is bad. We know that with war, there is going to be casualty. Then, while waiting for casualty, why not find a solution to war, which is peace? So, peace can be achieved through morality. Another thing, number 3, is that the international institution can help us to prevent conflict. And this international institution we are talking about, they are like the United Nations organizations and all the international institutions because they serve as a framework to resolve disputes and prevent conflict in the international system. Understand? The fourth argument of the idealists is that negotiation is better than war. Remember that we said that they believe that war is normal, but they come up with to tell us that negotiation is better than war. It's better we negotiate and settle dispute than to go for war, even though we believe that war exists in the international system, but it's better for us to talk and negotiate and sort things out. Understand? The fifth argument is that democracy and transparency promote peace and security in the international system, which means that if democratic means are being promoted in a country or in the international system, peace and security is guaranteed. Understand? And also, they also promote the belief of international law. That is, countries should follow international law if they want peace and security in the international system. Do you understand? Who is asking? You can ask the question. If you have question, I might not read the message you are sending. You can raise your hand and ask the question. Understand? So in essence, what we are trying to, I will repeat it again. The idealists, they believe that human being, the human nature, we are naturally good. Listen, so we can achieve peace and cooperation easily among ourselves. That is the belief. Even though there is war, we believe that there is war. To them, they believe that there is war, but cooperation can still be achieved. Negotiation is better than war. Do you understand? So the idealists, they are not in support of war. Listen, they are not in support of war, even though they believe that war exists in the international system. From the slide I'm sharing, you can see we say that the human nature is good. That is, God created us to be good, but now our stubbornness, they make us to be bad. When you see a country fighting another country, it's because the selfishness comes in. But naturally, we are good. Understand? So, nation will naturally avoid violence if provided with an alternative. Do you understand? So this is about idealist theory. Now, the second theory we have is the realist approach to study the international system. The realist. We've talked about the idealist. No, we want to talk about the realist theory. The realist theory is the opposite of the idealist. You know, the idealist said that human beings, we are naturally good. But the realists are telling us that human nature, we are bad. We are bad, we are sinful. And they are not lying. That is, the selfish interest of human being is making human being to be bad. You understand? Look at your politician today. I said, before he entered power, he's telling that if they get money, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But when he entered power, that money is getting turn his head to something else. So the human nature is bad to the realist. We are sinful, we are wicked, according to the realist. So the realists believe that the international politics is a struggle for power in a dangerous world. a struggle for power in a dangerous war, which means that if I want to struggle for power, I have to be selfish. In the international system, if you are nice, they will override you. Look at the case of Israel. If Israel is nice in the international system, all the countries in the Middle East will override Israel. You understand? So the struggle for power in the international system, that is the belief of the realist. Understand? So according to them, they have 6 arguments. They believe in systems, the realist. Number one thing is that human beings are selfish. They believe that human beings, we are selfish in nature. Understand? Number 2 is that state want power to survive. That is all the country in the world you are seeing. They are all fighting ways to get power so that they can be powerful, influential in the international system. Understand? Number three argument of the realist is that conflict in the international system is a natural thing. It's natural to fight one another in the international system, and it is unavoidable. You know, the idealists say that although there is conflict, but we can sort it out with negotiation. But the realists say that no, it is unavoidable. We cannot avoid conflict. Understand? They say they cannot avoid conflict. Understand? That is, conflict is natural and it is unavoidable. It's like you are in the family setting, husband and wife. There is no way they will not fight. They are going to fight, no matter how friendly they are going to fight, which is unavoidable. That is a perception of the realist. And then the fifth argument of the realist is that the military strength, the power, military prowess is very essential. That is, if you want to be influential in the international system, you need to have military power. A country that does not have military power in the international system is not influential. Look at countries that, just look at the world, you will see that countries that are influential, that are powerful, there are countries that have strong military power. So if you don't have military power, you are nothing in the international system. Understand? The sixth ideology or the sixth argument of the realist is that the morality does not
No, the
guide.
fifth, sir.
What do you say?
The fifth. You just mentioned the fourth one, the military power. So
Yeah,
the fifth one, not sixth, sir.
Okay, the military one. The fifth one, that morality does not guide foreign policy. That is, if you want to be good, you are not going to succeed. Your morality, although human being, we know what is good and we know what is bad. Sometimes you need to be selfish to achieve what you want to achieve. So morality does not guide foreign policy. If a country wants to achieve what they want to achieve, now put an example now. America, they want to help Nigeria solve insecurity. Do you think that America is running charity? They are not running charity. They are in Nigeria. Do you think they are coming to Nigeria to help Nigeria to solve insecurity for free? They are not running charity. Morality will not help them to achieve what they want to achieve. They come, they help you, and they take something from you. That is it. That is how you need to be selfish to gain more in the international system. And then number 6 is that every state must protect itself. That is the survivor of the fittest. All countries should find a way to protect itself. If you cannot protect yourself, you need to seek for alliance, support from outside there to come and protect you. Do you understand? That is, nobody is going to protect you until you ask for alliance. And once you ask for alliance or you ask for support from outsider, the protection comes with conditions. I want to charge my phone. My phone is about to die. So am I communicating, please? I don't know whether you understand me. Understand?
I can happy because some of these I'm so familiar with it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. So in essence, the national interest is of a country, to the realist, the national interest of a country is being defined by its natural power. That is, the power you have is going to determine how things are going to be for you in the international system. So if you want to be influential in the international system, the power you have especially the military power, is going to determine how influential you are going to be in the international system. Any question? If you don't understand, just let me know you don't understand. We are learning. You don't understand, just let me know, please. As I said, I'm talkative. So when it comes to education, I'm talkative. So we can ask questions and we can talk with one another. So question, please. Question. So one assignment I will give you is the concept of I've already. You should try to know the differences between idealism and realism. This is it on my slide. You can see from my slide as I'm sharing my slide. The differences between idealism, the comparison between compare and contrast idealist and realist ideology. Listen, from what I said now, you should be able to bring out the differences between them and compare them together. Listen now, but it's on my slide also. So they said they shared it in the group. I shared to some people yesterday night, so they shared it in the group. You can have access to it. So you need to know that because there is a past question on that one also, that you should explain the idealist perception. There's a question that says you should explain the realist perception. And there's a one question that says compare and contrast the two idealist and the realist perception. So that is about module 1. We've done module 1. Module 1, section 1, 2, 3. We've done module 1. So we want to move to module 2. Should we proceed or should we call it a day?
We should call it a day.
Let's proceed, please.
Please proceed.
Let's proceed.
I beg proceed.
We don't have time again. Let's proceed.
Whoever wants
Ufa, are you sure we should proceed?
Please proceed.
I beg
Anyone
proceed.
that is tired can take a free exit and come on YouTube later.
Exactly.
Okay. If you are tired, you can just go and you can check on YouTube. So
We can only exit when the lecturer, when brother
When
Kendi is
the
tired.
start.
okay. So now
With your
module
sweet
2.
voice, we cannot even exit.
Thank you very much. In module 2 is about talking about global actors and the dynamic of world politics. Global actors and the dynamic of world politics. Oh, sorry. Module 2, yeah, this is it. Module 2, section 1. Global actors and the dynamics of world politics. That is, in the international system, there are some people in the international system, or there are some actors, let me call them actors in the international system that influence the international system. Listen, so these are what we want to look at. So these are what we want to look at. So you're not seeing me because I'm charging my phone. I don't want my phone to just get off while we are talking. So now the actors are divided into 2. We have the state actors and the non-state actors. Listen, we have the state actors and the non-state actors. You can see from my slide, I put it state actors and non-state actors. Listen, now when we say state actors, a state actor, I'm not comfortable as I'm not seeing myself. My phone is slow, but now a state actor, listen, is a country that meets all the requirements of statehood. Statehood, like STATEHOOD, statehood. So is a country that meets all the requirements of statehood under international law and participates actively in global politics. So that is why whenever you hear state in this course, from first semester to second semester, whenever you hear state, we mean country. Understand? But we will not say country, we will say state. Understand? So a state actor is a country that meets all the requirements of statehood under international law and participates actively in global politics. Which means that if we say you are a state actor, you must meet the conditions to become a country. And also, aside from meeting the condition, you must also participate actively in global politics. So in essence, a state actor is a sovereign country recognized by international law with defined territory, population, government, and capacity to go into diplomatic relation. That is, a country that has a territory, population, government, and the capacity to go into diplomatic relation. You can see from the slide, it said state 4 attributes of a state, according to the Montevideo Convention. Let me mute Amira. So 4 attributes of a state, we have territory, population, government, sovereignty. Understand? Now, that is state actor. So the non-state actors, I'm going to explain that non-state actor later, but let's take state actor very well. So the state actor, the characteristics of state actors: territory, defined territory, permanent population. Understand? People reside in that territory. Understand? Recognized government, they have a government, sovereignty, and the capacity to engage in diplomatic relation. Understand? These are characteristics of state actors. Understand? Now, when we talk about non-state actors, they are political, social, economic, or military players that operate across or within borders. Understand? They are political, social, economical, or military player that operate across or within borders, but are not sovereign states. That means that they exist in a country and outside a country, but they are not regarded as a country. Listen, they influence international relations, public policy, security, and economy. Listen, they have impact in this thing, even though they do not possess legal attribution or characteristics of a state. They are not a state, but they can also influence international relations, public policy, security, economy, but they are not a state. An example of them are NGO, MNC, which is a multinational corporation, transnational criminal network, faith groups, listen, international individual like Nelson Mandela. Listen, they are non-state actors. Listen, now you might be wondering, why is non-state actors important? Why non-state actors, why are they important? Number one reason why non-state actors are important: they shape the outcomes. They shape the outcome of international politics. Often faster than the states. Often faster than the states. An example now. In terms of conflict, if there is conflict somewhere, there are some people that are international individuals, like the Pope from Vatican. It can come to call for ceasefire, and there's going to be peace. There was a time in 2010, if I'm not wrong, 2010 or 11, there was war in Ivory Coast, but Ivory Coast won the World Cup. No, they qualified for World Cup. If I'm not wrong, they qualified for World Cup. Didier Drogba, who is the captain of the club, the Ivory Coast football team, then asked for war to stop because there was war in Ivory Coast then. Listen now. So sometimes the non-state actors can influence decision, they shape the outcome easily, faster. Number two, they fill government gap where states are weak, where the states are not able to perform. These people, they fill the gap. Look at humanitarian relief that most people get in the north or in the east in Nigeria, like especially in IDP camps. It comes from NGOs or private individuals. The government cannot provide everything. So if any NGO can provide it, they provide it, which means that they fill the gap that what the government cannot do, they do it. They fill the gaps where the state are weak. Number 3, they challenge the state authority. They challenge the state authority, like the terrorist organizations, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, all these organizations, all these terrorist organizations, all this cartel, like in Brazil and most South American countries. They are also non-state actors because they challenge the authority of the government. When the government say A, they say Z. Understand? Number 4, they create global network. They create global network. Understand? That is, they have a supply chain that transcends borders. When there was war in Libya, the war from Libya has entered most part of Africa, especially West Africa, Mali, Nigeria, Niger, Somalia. The war that's been in Libya transcend the border, and they have a supply chain. Those terrorists from the Middle East, they are more in Africa also. They have network in Africa. Understand? So, how many dimensions now, Seth? I don't even know. How many dimensions?
5.
4.
4.
4. Sorry, 4.
Is it 4 or 5?
No, it's 4.
4.
4, please. 4.
So, and also they complicate traditional notion of sovereignty and responsibility. That is, we know sovereignty means that a state exercising its power without the influence of an external or internal attack. But sometimes the non-state actors, they influence that sovereignty. They influence the decision of a state. So sometimes you'll be asking yourself, do the state has the sovereignty that we are saying that they have or not? So in another, what do you say?
They complicate traditional
notion of sovereignty and responsibility.
All right, thank you.
Now, okay, good. Now, I want to check my phone again. I don't want it to be. International organization, IGOs. International organization, the IGOs. So the IGOs, the international organizations, they are institutions created by states through treaties or agreements to promote cooperation, manage shared problems, and regulate state behavior in global system. I repeat myself. The international organization, they are institutions created by states through treaties or agreements to promote cooperation, manage shared problems, and regulate state behavior in the global system. Do you understand? That is, for an intergovernmental organization to exist, that means that a state is existing because they are being created by states through treaties or agreement. And the reason why they are being created is for them to manage problem that is happening in the international system, or to promote cooperation, or to regulate the behavior of state in the global system. So the international intergovernmental organization, they help states deal with issues that no country can handle alone. While that no country can handle alone, this intergovernmental organization can help you handle it. Understand? Problems such as security problem, pandemic. Look at pandemic issue when there was COVID-19. You know that during COVID-19, it's not that COVID-19 was resolved by one country. No, it was resolved by the collaboration of many countries. That is through the intergovernmental organization. That is through the World Health Organization. So not one country resolving it, like many countries coming together to resolve it. Listen, through security, trade and migration, there are problems that not only a country can resolve. Sometimes you need the collaboration of other countries to come in. Understand? Now, whenever we talk about peace and security, the international what is the international organization that is usually involved when we talk about peace and security? Anybody to answer that one for us? When we talk about peace and security, which international
United
organization
Nations.
is involved? What?
United Nations.
That is one. That's one. Okay. Another one.
African Union.
Thank you very much. African Union, AU. Another one.
ECOWAS.
ECOWAS. Yeah, ECOWAS sometimes do collective security, but in West Africa, yeah, that's another one. But ECOWAS is mainly economic, but sometimes when there's the security of West Africa is threatened, they send ECOMOG. That's the security body of ECOWAS. So
What about NATO?
NATO also is also an example when it comes to promoting peace and security. Now, when we talk about facilitating economic cooperation, which organization, which international intergovernmental organization is involved? When we talk about facilitating economic cooperation,
ECAS.
ECOWAS.
ECOWAS.
World
Thank you
Trade
very much.
Organization.
Another one.
WTO.
ECAS
What?
for
WTO.
Central Africa.
WTOs. What do you say now?
ECAS, ECCAS,
Yeah,
ECAS.
yeah. Another one again.
SADC.
In Europe, which one do they have in Europe?
European Union.
European Union. Thank you very much. Now, when we talk about support, development, and poverty reduction, which organization are involved?
UNICEF.
UNICEF, exactly.
UNICEF, yeah.
Red Cross.
Yeah, that's an example also.
Rotary Club.
I don't know
But
about
those are NGOs. Those are IGOs.
they are NGOs. Rotary is NGO.
They're not
Now,
intergovernmental.
we have World Bank. We have
Exactly.
IMF. Listen. Now, but when we talk about help in humanitarian emergencies, which intergovernmental organization is involved? Humanitarian emergencies.
United Nations.
What?
Red Cross.
Red Cross is not an IGO.
It's not an IGO.
So United Nations.
United Nations
is an agency of the United Nations that is dedicated
which is UNICEF.
UNICEF is for Child Education Fund.
We have the World Health Organization when it comes to emergency, that is health. We have the UNHCR that is also involved.
Yeah.
So in essence, there are many organizations that are intergovernmental organizations, but you should be able to distinguish the one that focuses on security, the one that focuses on economic cooperation or other things. Understand? So intergovernmental organizations, they are divided into two. Understand? So we have the global one, we have the regional one. So some are global, some are regional in nature. So the regional one, we have the AU, African Union, the ECOWAS, the European Union, NATO, not Atlantic Treaty Organization. So some are just regional, but some cover the whole, international system, globe. Understand? Now, we want to proceed to the next one from my slide. You are not seeing my frame because I'm charging my phone. So we want to proceed to the next one, which is multinational. Okay, somebody want to ask Kemi Sola. Okay, want to ask a question? Yeah, you can ask your question.
Yes, I want to find out, is EU and IGO? I think they asked that question. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to just confirm.
So they are intergovernmental organization. Understand? It comprises of many countries in the European Union. Yes, so they are like our own ECOWAS in Nigeria, in West Africa. Somebody want to ask?
Okay.
Okay, you have another person I want to ask question. I don't know the name. That's issuing Infinix.
Yes, please. Before we proceed, there's something I want to confirm. We have been using some words interchangeably, if they are the same or there's difference. State, nation, country, do they incline the same thing in
Uh,
relation to
okay.
foreign policy?
Actually, it is a contested definition. Although it are used interchangeably. Now, state and country, they are same thing. We say they are same thing. But now let me just define them one after the other. So that just bear with me. Let me put my camera on. My phone is charging now. So a state, you already know the meaning of a state, right? From our definition, our previous definition. But a nation is a group of people who share a common identity. Understand? They share a common identity, such as culture, language, history, or ethnicity. Listen, Yoruba nation, the Yoruba, they share common identity, common history, common ethnicity, culture, language. That is nation. So it's different from a state. It's in a state sometimes they don't share the same identity. The case of Nigeria. That is my own perception in the case of Nigeria. Understand? So, in essence, the people in the state, they have cultural identity they share together. But when it comes to state, we are talking about a political organization. Like I can just put a political organization. Let me just put that. Government, we are focusing on the government and the territory and people living in the territory. Here we are not making a distinction whether they share the same identity. We are not making a distinction whether they share the same identity, but we're making a reference to the government, the territory, and people living in the territory. Listen. So, but when you say country, we still mean state. But in MIAD, we say state. We don't mention country in MIAD. But somebody that is not doing MIAD, we say country. I don't know whether you understand my explanation.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Somebody also raised his hand. I don't know who is the person. Okay, nobody. So the next thing we are looking at is the multinational corporation and the NGO. Multinational corporation and NGO. That's the next thing we are looking at. Now, multinational corporation. So I'm sorry, I just want to be sure I'm telling. Now, multinational corporation. Anybody to define multinational corporation for us? Anybody to define multinational corporation for us? Anybody? Multinational corporations.
Business seat headquartered in one country but with branches in other countries.
Okay. Example.
ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil, thank you very much. Another example?
Mr. Biggs.
Mr. Biggs. Is Mr. abroad?
Dangote.
Microsoft,
Maybe
Oracle,
KFC, but I don't know.
MTN, Microsoft,
MTN,
Yeah.
Shell,
Total,
Coca-Cola.
Heineken.
In essence, whenever we are saying multinational corporation, we are making reference to a company, that has its headquarters in another country, but has branches across different borders. Understand? They have how do you call branches across different territory. Look at ShopRite. Look at MTN. Microsoft, Facebook. Meta company. They are in Ghana. I think they're in Ghana. Listen now. So the multinational corporation, they are also a non-state actor in the international system. Dangote refinery want to go to the how do you call it, eastern part of Africa to establish a refinery there. And so it's also a multinational corporation. Now. So the multinational corporation, they operate beyond the border of one country. Understand? And in most cases, they help the government. They help the government by providing employment to people in the country. And they also help the government. The government also give them, how do you call it, the reduction. There is always tariff that the government give them. And in response of that, they help the government to do some projects in the country. So when you go to some part of Port Harcourt and the Niger Delta area, some of the roads are not made by the government. I'm not saying all, but some of the roads are not made by the government. Some of them are made by the multinational corporation that are taking oil in that particular zone of Nigeria. Understand? So now, other hand, we have the NGO. What is NGO? Based on your own understanding of NGO, I'm looking for something. What is NGO?
So NGO is a non-governmental organization that operates independently from government, but they usually help and support, fill in the gap where government falls short.
They fill the gap between where the government is not able to perform. They fill the gap there. Okay, that was the point.
Yeah.
Another person.
And they are non-profits.
Okay, they are non-profit in nature. Okay, another example. Another person, please. Non-governmental organization. Another person.
There is a common good.
There is a what?
A common good, like they're working towards a purpose. If it's for poverty alleviation, if it's for just they're working towards a common good. So they're not just trying to tackle everything to go.
Okay. Another definition, please.
So NGOs work for social or humanitarian causes, and they're usually funded through donations or grants or contribution from the membership.
Okay, I'm looking for one part question. Just bear with me. Just one question I'm looking for. Now, the past question says, non-governmental organizations, I've seen the past question, non-governmental organizations are important actors in world politics. Explain with good example. Let me repeat the question. Non-governmental organizations are important actors in world politics. That is the NGO. They are important actors in the international politics. Explain with good, how do you call it? Good reason. So if they ask you to explain the importance of non-governmental organization, that's why I was asking you to give me the meaning of non-governmental organization. So I want to see how best you can without me explaining it. I want to see how best you can explain that one. So in essence, the non-governmental organization, they are private, voluntary organization operating independently of government. They are not government organization. They are private and voluntary organization. They are there for the goal is for the good of the public. Understand that they have a goal to enhance the livelihood or public activities. I don't know how to put that, but they are usually local to transnational in their scope. That is, a non-governmental organization usually start locally and shift across border. You understand? So the role of non-governmental organization, number one role of a non-governmental organization is humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. That is, they provide humanitarian assistance in a place where the government is not able to provide. Understand? Number two role of the non-governmental organization, they serve as human rights advocacy. Human rights advocacy. Number three, they are also environment. They serve the purpose of environmental protection. Environmental protection. Understand? Number four, they also promote that they serve as policy advocacy and agenda setting. Understand? Policy advocacy like this, the Amnesty International, you see the Amnesty International, most time they intervene in policy matters, and even in the human rights matter, they intervene in human rights matter and the policy matters. Understand? That is about the role of the non-governmental organization. And the question I said they asked us, the question says, non-governmental organizations are important actors in the world politics. That is, you just need to find a way to define the roles. I was looking for the past question. So you just find a way to define the roles of the non-governmental organization. These roles I mentioned, try to find a way to explain it extensively. Understand? Try to find a way to explain extensively. And another question in the past question says, actors are important component of global politics. Identify and discuss the role of actor in global politics. Look at, it's a past question, January 2023. Actors are important component of global politics. Identify and discuss the role of actors in global politics. I think I've shared my past question with you, past question and answer. I've shared with you guys before they remove me from your group. So if you look at my exam past question and answer, I've explained everything there. So I believe if you read that one, you should be able to pass the exam. You just watch the video and read the exam past question and answer I share in your group. So that should be able to help. So the question is, the actors are important component of global politics. Listen, we know that actors, they are important, but they say we should identify and discuss the role of actors. Listen, we should identify the roles of actors. That is where you are going to talk about state actors. You talk about non-state actors, the role of state actors, the role of non-state actors. Do you understand? Those there are questions I'm trying to look at on module 2. So some of the questions on module 2 talks about actors, and another question says that discuss the role of actors in global politics. The roles of actors in global politics. So in essence, you should try to find a way to understand the roles of actors, either state actors and non-state actors. Just know it before you go to exam. Just know it before you go to exam. Picture it in your brain that you must know it before you go to exam. The role of state actors and non-state actors. Just know this, their role. Listen. So we proceed. We will proceed to the next one. I want to proceed. I want to treat past question with this module 2. I want to treat past question. If you are tired, just let me know. Maybe you can pause and tomorrow we can. No, I'm not sure if I will be available. I don't know my time tomorrow. Now,
except you are tired, we are good to go.
I'm a bit talkative. I'm a bit talkative. I don't want it to be boring for you people, but I want to answer one question for you. January 2024 past question. They say actors are players in global politics. In global politics, they have both negative and positive contribution. Discuss using relevant example. They say actors, they have both negative and positive contribution in the international system. You should discuss them. You understand? Now, positive contribution of global actors. Anybody to tell us the positive contribution of global actors?
Yes. They provide international economic development and growth.
Thank you very much. That is economic development and technological transfer. Okay, that's an example.
They facilitate
Anybody?
diplomatic relations.
They facilitate diplomatic relations among countries. Okay, that is okay.
They also promote transfer of technology.
Okay, technological transfer is an example also. Is also
Promote
contributing.
international peace and security.
What?
Promotion of international peace and security.
Thank you very much. Promotion of international peace and security is also an example.
They also create opportunity for providing employment.
They provide employment. Okay. So, in essence, all what he mentioned are positive contribution of actors in global politics. But what about the negative contribution of actors in global politics? Because as they have positive, they have negative.
Insecurity. Orchestrated
What?
by the insecurity, orchestrated by the terrorist actors, they don't state actors.
Thank you very much. Insecurity, that is undermining the state sovereignty. Insecurity is also number one. Okay. Another one.
They also promote crime through things like human trafficking, organs harvesting.
That's about the insecurity. Another one is economic exploitation and environmental degradation. Economic exploitation in the sense that all these multinational corporation you are seeing, sometimes they don't pay the staff the due fee, that the salary they're supposed to pay them. In reality, they don't pay them. For instance, now, my company that is in the company I'm working with in the UK, if they are paying us £2,000 in UK, in Nigeria, they are going to go and pay them 200,000 naira or 300,000 naira, which means that there's usually an economic exploitation. And also the environmental degradation. When you go to the Niger Delta area, you will notice that the water is being polluted because these people are exploiting the land. They are taking away from the land. They are taking our crude oil from the land, but they are not repairing the zone. Understand? So environmental. The reason why the Niger Delta crisis was too much during how do you call Basanjo, Yaradua regime era, that era, is because people were complaining that they don't have potable water, that they are being marginalized and they are getting oil from their zone and they are not benefiting from it. Listen. So, and also there is unequal power relation. Unequal power relation in the essence that these people, they don't have the legal status to become a state, but they influence the decision-making process in the country because they are powerful and country want them. Most country want the how do you call this, in non-governmental organization or just those actors to be in their country. And once they come in their country, they manipulate. Some of them, they don't pay tax as they're supposed to pay because we are the one that called them to come to our country. Understand? So also there is a proliferation of violence and insecurity. Somebody mentioning human harvesting and other things, and I think somebody mentioned human harvesting and insecurity.
Human trafficking.
Yeah. So sometimes most of the non-state actors or those actors, they involved in armed proliferation, that they bring in gun, they bring in ammunition to countries, and they promote insecurity self. Yes, and some part of Zamfara, some part of Niger, how do you call it? Sambisa, some people are mining mineral resources there. Yes, so if there is peace there, they will not have time to mine mineral resources. So they have to cause wahala in the zone so that they can peacefully do their shit business. Yes, so in essence, that is about positive contribution and negative contribution of actors in international system. So another question in the past question says that non-state actors are increasingly involved in important issues in contemporary world politics. Discuss their relevance. I think we should talk about the function or the importance of non-state actors. We've already discussed about that one. So we are going to proceed to the next thing, to the next topic. What is the time? 8:30. We're supposed to stop at 8:30, Abi. Sherry, is it 8:30 or 8:30?
We're supposed to stop by 9:30.
Kilo day. Nah, when did we start this class, please? When did we start?
6:36.
6:30. Okay, 6:30 to 8:30. That's 2 hours, right? Let's do another 30 minutes and then we are going to stop by 9. Let's do we are going to stop by 9. So we want to look at World War I and World War II. So if we are able to look at World War I, I want to look at past questions. I have my past questions here. I want to look at World War I and World War II. So, okay, thank you very much. So I don't want to treat it. I just want to take as a question that comes in the examination. So the past question says, discuss the effect of First and Second World War on contemporary international politics. Listen to the question. Discuss the effect of First and Second World War on the contemporary international politics. That is, what is the effect of First War and the Second War on the international politics? Listen, so I will try to explain this for you so you can have a picture of this war. Listen. So, the First War and the Second World War. Listen, then let me continue. The effect of the First War and the Second World War. Listen. So the First World War was between 1914 to 1918, while the Second World War was between 1939 to 1945. So this war were global conflict involving major powers and alliance. Listen, it's a global conflict that involved major powers and alliance. So it was characterized by the mobilization of national resources for destruction. Listen, they mobilize resources from many parts of the world for destruction. Now, the question now says that we should talk about the effects of this war. That's the past question. We are trying to take that past question, so I don't want to waste the time by going into everything. So the question says we should try to the effect of this war, the effect of First World War, Second World War on the contemporary international politics. Number one effect of this war is the collapse of empire and the emergence of new states. The collapse of empire and the emergence of new states. The World War led to the collapse of major empire, especially in Europe. That is, we have the Ottoman Empire, the German Empire, the how do you call it? The Austro-Hungarian Empire. So this empire collapsed because of the World War. And aside from that one, this World War also make colonial empire also collapse. European colonial empire also collapse. Indirectly, it paved a way to independence in most colonial empire. Most European colonial empire in Africa and Asia, it paved a way to it. Listen, so the process, the war, listen, encouraged nationalism and the emergence of new sovereign states, particularly in Africa and Asia. Because after the war, countries were starting to fight for independence. They were having the zeal to fight for self-governance. That is the first one. The second one is the shift in the global power structure. The effect of the First World War and the Second World War is the second effect is the shift in the global power structure. Because European dominance declined significantly after the war. After they fought the war, the dominance of Europe declined. Listen, the United States and the Soviet Union, they now emerge as dominant powers. Listen, so this one shaped how power is being shared. The power became bipolar. Listen, the power became bipolar. Listen, number 3, the establishment of international institutions, which means that the failure of pre-war diplomatic mechanism, because there was diplomatic means to solve dispute, but it failed. So this led to the war. So after the war, comes in before the war, we have the League of Nations, right? So the United Nations emerged as a central platform for collective security, diplomacy, and international cooperation. Listen, so in essence, the war paved way for the establishment of international organizations. Listen, all the international organizations we've seen is because the war paved a way for them. Listen, number 4, right? Is it number 4, number 5? Is it number 4?
Number 4.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4.
Okay, number 4 is evolution of international law and norms. Listen, the World War, Second and First and the World War, they strengthened international legal framework, especially on human rights, war crime, and collective responsibility. If you remember, we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I think 1948, if I'm not wrong. Listen, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was established because of the casualty that happened during the war. And because of the war also, they set up a legal framework against war crime and also what we call collective security. That is, an attack on one is an attack on all. If you attack one country, other countries are going to attack you. Understand? So that is also an effect of the World War. The fifth one is militarization and technological advancement. That is, after the war, technology and innovation came in now. Listen, technology and innovation was input now. So technology, especially wartime innovation, accelerated, and technology accelerated, influencing the modern warfare. Strategical calculation and intelligence also were also input in place. So this is about the effect of World War I and World War II on contemporary international politics. Past question. We have less than 15 minutes left, so we are going to look at another past question. So the first question. Another past question says that. With an explanatory note. Okay, write an explanatory note on the following concept: Cold War. They said you should explain Cold War. That's it. We should explain Cold War.
My hand up to ask a question.
Is Hope want to speak? If you want to speak, you can just raise your hand. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, please. So.
Why do I raise my hand up, please?
Okay, you raise your hand.
Just check. I'm using browser. I'm not using.
You want to say something?
Yes, I want to ask a question. That's why I'm.
Okay, go on.
Thank you. So, when you said the effect, I think you literally, from what you said, it is more like the positive effect. Are there negative effects of this third war, first war and second war?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, when we talk about the effect of the war, the fourth or the first and the war, they are not likely to be. They are not really positive or negative. That is, we are talking about the contribution of the war, how the world has shaped the contemporary international politics, and so how it has shaped the contemporary world international politics. That is why we mentioned how how they shape the international politics. And so not about the positive and the negative effects. And so if you check the slide I share with you, in the slide I share with you, I mentioned the effect of the war, but not precisely in the positive and negative effects. Understand? So that is how they are able to shape, because the war was, the last war they fought was in 1948. That's when the war ends, and we are in 2026. And so you cannot tell me that it has a negative outcome on it, but it has a way it affects, it has an impact, it has an impact, or it has a way it shaped the contemporary international politics, and that's what I mentioned. Unless anybody has a contrary opinion on that one, so that's what I understand about that. Okay, can I proceed? Or any question again? Any question? Okay, I'll proceed. So the question said we should try. The one question said we should try to discuss about the Cold War. Like you should write a note on the Cold War. In the slide I share with you, I gave a definition of the Cold War, the origin, the key dynamic of the war, and the effect of the war on Africa. Now, Cold War by meaning. Cold War refer to a prolonged period of political, ideological, and strategic rivalry between two opposing blocs led by the United States and the Soviet Union. I repeat myself, is a prolonged period of political, ideological, and strategic rivalry between two opposing power blocks. And these two opposing power blocks is like these two opposing power blocks, they are the United States and the Soviet Union. So it was characterized by the absence of direct military confrontation. They did not confront themselves militarily. Understand? The two superpower, they did not confront themselves militarily, but there was intense competition through diplomacy, proxy war, and arm build up. Listen, we call it a Cold War. That is hot war, cold war, warm war. No, Cold War is just like a war that was fought without the involvement of military actions. Listen, without the involvement of military action. You can see from the slide, we say is a military and ideology confrontation between two superpower. That is, the superpower are the United States and the Soviet Union. Understand? Now, they said the effect of the Cold War on Africa. Let me mute this person. Kindly mute yourself, please. Let me mute the person. The effect of the Cold War on Africa. How the Cold War have an effect on Africa. Listen, number one effect of Cold War on Africa is proxy conflict. Listen, proxy conflict. Africa countries or states became an arena of superpower rivalry with external power supporting opposing faction. That is, some countries in Africa, some of them supported the Soviet Union, some supported the United States. So we now became enemy among ourselves. Understand? Number two effect of this war on Africa is political instability. Understand? Political instability. Because this Cold War caused division, internal division on Africa. There was internal division on Africa. And also, aside from that one, it affects the harmony in Africa. Understand? Number three, economic dependency. Understand? That is, alignment made during the Cold War shape development part in Africa, which means that if you align behind the United States, you get development aid from the United States. If you align behind the Soviet Union, you get. So we are depending. Alignment was formed. Alignment was formed on the purpose of the economic dependency. So the country that you benefit from, you align with them. You form alliance with them to go against the other one. You understand? So, and also another effect of the war on Africa is militarization policy. And when we talk about militarization policy, we make reference to external military support. Understand? That is, this war encouraged the authoritarian rule in Africa. And authoritarian rule in Africa is direct opposite to democracy. Understand? So, and also, when you look at the effect on Africa, you also need to look at the effect on global. How the Cold War has an effect on the global politics. Understand now? So the Cold War created bipolar system of governments. Understand? Bipolar international system, and also there was also proliferation of there was proliferation, that armed conflict or war also expanded, and also there was deterrence, armed conflict, and some proliferation and expansion of military alliances, and politicization of development and aid. That is, country get aid based on the alliance with powerful nations. So I think we are going to call it a day here. So for your exam, I advise you to look at genocide. You should look at globalization. There are things you should look at also. Globalization. Know the Cold War, First War, Second War, globalization, genocide. We've done the major part of it, but the other one that we did not discuss, you try to look at it also. I wish you good luck. Terrorism is there also. So in my slide, although I jump pack it in my slide, but if you open the slide well and look at it well, you understand. So I'm going to cut off this recording, stop the recording.